cooperation of the provincial government, maybe none of this would ever happen. Certainly my friends from Norway and Vianode, we spent a couple of years over meals trying to make this come to fruition in St. Thomas also, but would not have happened without the provincial government helping us do it. St. Thomas is proud of where it now sits and what it is now doing. We've always been an automotive community, and funny, we still are, but in a strangely different scientific way than we used to be. And we're so proud for the citizens of St. Thomas to be able to recognize the generational change we've been able to do here in St. Thomas with the industries we've attracted. Vianode now being the newest and the most exciting. We've seen their facilities in Norway. We know what it can do in St. Thomas, and we know the generational change it will make to the employment of our youth in St. Thomas. So many grandparents have come up to me and said, Mayor, you know what's happened? You've made it where our kids can stay home, where our kids can work in a community where they grew up and buy a house in a community where they grew up, and we'll continue to think that that's our plan in the city of St. Thomas. Thank you. I'm introducing MP, please. And I wish I could just remember what your name was.
It's because I'm a last-minute fill-in.
Oh,
How are you supposed to know?
Well, thank you and welcome to St. Thomas. By the end of the day, we'll know each other well. Thank you.
Let me tell you, Mayor, it is my absolute pleasure to be here. Very exciting occasion. My name is Lisa Hefner. I am the Member of Parliament for Hamilton Mountain here on behalf of the federal government. So great to be here alongside Premier Ford. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Lisa.
Minister Fedeli, great to catch up with you, and great to get to know Mayor Preston, Minister Flack, and this incredible company, Vianode. Thank you for hosting us here today in St. Thomas. Look at us, federal, provincial, municipal, industry, all here on the stage working together. And this project is a first of its kind. It's through our newly assembled Critical Minerals Production Alliance. This was one of 26 critical minerals investments that we announced last month in Toronto at the G7 Energy and Environment Ministerial. The Production Alliance was created to strengthen our critical mineral supply chains around the world. And so that's why this partnership and support from Vianode is so exciting, as the mayor said. This facility being built here will contribute to a strong North American supply chain and critical to all of our most strategic industries. And thanks to this partnership with the Government of Ontario and other international partners, this project and projects like this one will keep Canada competitive and keep Canada clean. Developing critical minerals right here in St. Thomas will help power clean energy. It will support industries that range from manufacturing to defense. And it's just another example that Canada clearly has the resources. Canada has the critical minerals that the world wants. Vianode is such an innovative and strong addition to Canada's energy industry, and I can tell you the federal government is over the moon with its newfound partnership. So proud that Vianode chose Canada for its first large-scale, low-emission synthetic graphite production facility in North America. This is how we build Canada strong. We do it together and with projects like these. So thank you very much, and with that, I will turn things over to Minister Flack.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Lisa. It obviously is a great honor and pleasure to be here today. It's great to be here in wonderful St. Thomas in Elgin County for some good news. And an absolute pleasure to stand beside my favorite mayor in St. Thomas, Mayor Preston, my friend for many decades, Premier Ford, obviously, and my colleague, Minister Fedeli, for yet another success story for St. Thomas. One that the Premier will share about shortly, along with Minister Fedeli. I am also proud to stand beside Vianode CEO, Burkhard Strobe, who I am sure we'll be seeing and hearing a lot from in the months and years ahead. Throughout Elgin, Middlesex, and London, we are experiencing unparalleled economic growth. Over the past years, it's been exciting to see the number of companies expand and grow their roots right here in our community. PowerCo, Element 5, and now Vianode. These investments represent good-paying, sustainable local jobs. They generate positive ripple effects throughout our local economy, accelerating the demand for more housing, more critical infrastructure like water, wastewater, schools, and healthcare. Under Premier Ford's leadership, our government has delivered historic investments to meet this demand, and we will continue to do so for all Ontarians. This is how we are growing Ontario and building thriving communities right here at home. When we were elected in 2018, Premier Ford made a commitment to protect Ontario's position as an economic powerhouse not only in Canada but throughout North America. Despite the global uncertainties we now face, we continue to see that commitment realized. Today is a perfect example. I know my colleague, Minister Fedeli, has worked tirelessly to forge new strategic alliances and make Ontario the jurisdiction, the province, the community of choice for companies right around the world. His efforts, alongside Mayor Preston and his council, have made today possible. So well done, Minister Fedeli. Thank you very much. I will now turn it over to Vianode CEO Burkhard Strobe. But before I do, I want to reiterate how honored we are that Vianode chose St. Thomas for its new facility. Thank you all very much. Minister Fedeli. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Premier Ford.
Good morning.
Good morning, Minister Fedeli, Mr. Flack, Member of Parliament O'Rourke, Mayor Preston, dear distinguished guests, business partners, and colleagues. I would like to start by saying thank you for all your support. Thank you, Doug Ford, and it's a special honor that you decided to celebrate your birthday with Vianode and with all of us. Really appreciate this. Normally,
birthday present ever. The best.
Normally I would sing a song, a birthday song now, but I guess I spare everybody today. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you, Ontario. Thank you very much to invest in Ontario, to the Canadian government, to invest in Canada, and to the great team here in St. Thomas. If I just look around, I see so many friendly and familiar faces of people who supported our journey in the last 2 years. A very special thank you goes out to Vic Fedeli, who supported us and shared our enthusiasm from the very first time we met back in April 2024. I believe on the joint journey, Vic has become a friend of Vianode and a personal friend. Without all your support, we would not be here today announcing the largest synthetic graphite anode material plant in the Western world and the most sustainable one worldwide.
Beautiful.
Vianode is a Norwegian company with the vision to supply anode graphite for the carbon neutral society. Synthetic anode graphite is by weight the largest part in lithium-ion batteries. Today, close to 100% of synthetic graphite for electromobility, stationary energy storage, and many strategically important and critical industries and infrastructure depends on imports from Asia and China. Ontario and Canada have built an impressive automotive value chain, including electromobility and an ecosystem for lithium-ion batteries. Just one important part, a real enabler is missing. Or should I say, was missing. Our investment to produce synthetic graphite here in St. Thomas will address and solve both Western North American, Ontario and Canada challenges. Firstly, a resilient supply chain for a G7 critical mineral. And secondly, closing a gap in the automotive and EV value chain here in Ontario. In a phased approach, starting with 35,000 tons production per year, we plan to build up to 150,000 tons annual anode material production, which is sufficient for approximately 3 million EVs. Initially, we will create approximately 300 highly qualified jobs, bringing additional employment and economic growth through ripple effects to the city of St. Thomas and the local communities. We will be a proud and responsible citizen of St. Thomas and a member of the Ontario business community. We will be an important contributor and driver of building up a scientific network and competence center for lithium-ion batteries, driving technology development and innovation. Today is a great day for Vianode, and as described, for Ontario, Canada and North America. We are closing the gap of one of the greatest vulnerabilities of our economies and societies in the field of critical minerals, synthetic graphite. And we do it in the most sustainable way possible. Due to Vianode's proprietary technology, we will reduce the CO2 emissions by up to 90% compared to today's supplies, technologies and sources. Again, all of this would not have been possible without your support. Recognizing that what we have achieved is an important milestone also means recognizing that the real work is just starting now. There will be challenges along the way, and I'm looking forward to continued great cooperation in realizing our joint ambition. Together, we will realize Vianode's mission to deliver the most efficient solution to reduce battery industry's emission. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your support and interest. And with this, I would like to invite the Honourable Minister, Vic Fedeli, to the mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Burkhard.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're the best. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Burkhard. It is a real honor to be here today. Thank you for traveling from Norway to be with us here today. And in the spirit of today's celebration, it feels fitting to reflect a little bit on the path that led us here to this very moment. In 2021, Vianode opened the doors to their first plant in Herøya in Norway with a simple yet ambitious goal in mind, and that was to become a major North American graphite supplier. And under the leadership of Burkhard, these ambitions were met with action. And in time, it became apparent that Ontario would have played an important role in the Vianode story. So as you heard from Burkhard, our discussions began back in April of 2024. We met during one of our missions to Germany, and Burkhard showcased to us what it is that they wanted to do. It's not only that Ontario was a strategic location, but a reliable, resilient, and competitive business partner ready to take on this unprecedented project. Later that June, we had the great pleasure of visiting first their demonstration site in Norway, which proved out the value chain that they saw, and then the full-scale facility in Norway where we met Emanuele. And we saw really firsthand this massive opportunity for Ontario. And again, it really became crystal clear that Ontario and Vianode would be a natural match. And as time went on, that vision for excellence and for growth and for opportunity became a reality. But nothing, Premier, beat the day that you met with Burkhard and closed the deal. I want you to all know that Premier Ford is the single greatest closer that we have. And thanks to that day, we still have a great memory of the handshake. We remember it well. It was just such a beautiful feeling. And took a lot of work on behalf of Invest Ontario to turn the handshake into a letter of intent and into a term sheet and all those other good technical things. But it was really, really an important day. Our Senior Economic Officer, Ernst Leweger, is here from Germany to witness this today as well, as you were, Ernst, when you were in Norway witnessing the opening of the plant as well. What I'm trying to say, it's teamwork. And so that's why we're standing here today to celebrate what's not only a landmark moment for your company, Burkhart, but it's a landmark moment for Ontario's economy. Now, Burkhart and Emmanuel, we really thank you for putting your faith in the people of St. Thomas, because we all know here there are exceptional workers, our industrial capacity, and our government's plan to position Ontario as a leading supplier for strategic industries. Now, Premier, I'm going to just veer for 1 second. I promise it won't take long. You know, since Premier Ford and our government have been elected in 2019, we have landed $110 billion worth of foreign direct investment. But I only bring that up now because more than 10% of it, Mayor Preston, is here. Between the Volkswagen site, Element 3, and now Vianode, that accounts for 10% of the entire foreign direct investment that we've achieved. So I just wanted to throw that little tidbit out, Premier. So the countless of others who've supported these discussions over the years, including, as I mentioned, Invest Ontario and Invest in Canada, our Trade and Investment Office in Munich. We are very grateful. Minister Flack, again, this is your turf. You've landed 10% of all of our foreign direct investment. You can give it a break for a day. Take the weekend off. Just take the weekend off tomorrow, but then take the weekend off. But again, the single greatest closer in the business is Premier Ford. So we thank you all for your unwavering dedication to the province, to the people here, and everybody who's been the driving force behind this. So closer, it's time for you to speak.
Okay, buddy. No, it's all good. Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day here in St. Thomas. I want to thank Minister Fedeli for all the nice words, actually, Vic. That's the first time you've given me all those nice words. See, I sit beside Vic for 7 years, and when you're butt up against someone in the legislature, you get to know him really well, and I'm so grateful to have him beside me and on Team Ontario, and it's wonderful to be back in beautiful St. Thomas alongside Minister Flack. I call him Flacky. He's an absolute champion. And Mayor, yes, that's what I call Mayor Preston. Joe, you're an incredible person, but I love his approach. We have 444 great mayors right across our province, but I've never met someone that solves issues, solves problems, closes deals like Mayor Preston. And I love, he always says, and I probably don't have the right terminology, but he says, ask me a question, the answer is yes, we can do it. That's the difference between him and a lot of other folks out there. As well, I first of all want to welcome our great partnership with MPP Lisa Hefner. And as a matter of fact, I'm heading to your town right after this. Excellent. Hamilton Mountain. We have a great relationship. Now, where I'm going with this, folks, it doesn't matter political stripes. When we all work together, municipal, provincial, and federal, we attract incredible companies like Vianode. Most importantly, I want to thank Burkhart and the entire team, and Emmanuel, thank you as well for joining us today and for their relentless work to make today a reality. And Burkhart, I remember that day. He was over at the house with Vic, and we sat in these chairs beside each other, and we shook hands. And Vic has a picture of that. It was just in a little solarium, but it's amazing when you build relationships. I always say build relationships, break bread with someone, and we're just so grateful for your confidence in our team and Ontario and the mayor and the federal government. That's how we get things done. Folks, with the tariffs and economic uncertainty taking direct aim at our economy, and a direct aim at every economy in the entire world, targeting workers and businesses, our government is doing everything we can to protect communities, businesses, people's jobs, families right across Ontario. And that's why we're doubling down on our more than $220 billion to build infrastructure right across our province. That includes right here in St. Thomas. Folks, you look at the field behind us, this is going to be a booming area, and all thanks to Vinode and Burkhard's great leadership. We're going to create jobs and grow Ontario's economy so we have the revenues we need to invest back into the social programs that Ontario families rely on. Folks, how we say the foundation of our healthcare system, our infrastructure, our education, and everything else relies on one thing. That's our economy. It relies on companies like Vinode to come here and invest and create new opportunities. We're investing over $41 million to build the new St. Thomas Catholic Secondary School to provide 826 new student spaces once complete. And that doesn't happen without companies, again, like Vinode coming here and opening up. And we're providing record funding to support housing, enabling infrastructure, including over $39 million through the Municipal Housing Infrastructure Program in Elgin County. We've expanded the Thames Valley Family Health Team to connect more than 13,000 additional patients in the community to world-class primary care close to home. And we invested $16 million to deliver the first, and these are so important for towns like this, the first ever MRI machine, and build a new laboratory at the St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital. Because, Flacky, I'm sure everyone had to drive to London to get an MRI. Now they don't have to do that. We're working to build the most competitive, resilient, and self-reliant economy in the G7. By cutting the red tape, we've cut $1.2 billion of red tape and regulations, and making sure that we cut 1.8 million working hours, that they can reallocate those people to do jobs within their company rather than filling out mounds of government paperwork at all three levels, and attracting jobs and investment that will protect Ontario workers. Thanks to the leadership of Minister Fedeli and Minister Flack, manufacturers are coming back to southwestern Ontario, creating thousands of good-paying jobs, including right here in St. Thomas. Our government was proud to support Element 5's recent $107 million expansion of their mass timber manufacturing operations with an $8 million investment. Through our Invest Ontario Fund, creating 150 new good-paying jobs for the region. And of course, just down the road from here, Volkswagen's PowerCo has shovels in the ground on their historic new EV battery cell plant, which will create 3,000 direct, good-paying jobs and thousands of additional indirect jobs in the region across the supply chain and the broader economy. And today, we're here to celebrate another critical investment that will protect Ontario workers. I'm thrilled to welcome Vinode's $3.2 billion, with a B, billion-dollar investment to establish a new state-of-the-art manufacturing facility here in St. Thomas, which our government is proud to support. Again, the best birthday present I've ever had. $3.2 billion investment. It's absolutely incredible. Folks, this plant will create nearly 300 new good-paying jobs in its initial phase, with more than 1,000 jobs expected once the facility is fully operational, and will produce enough synthetic graphite to supply roughly 2 million electric vehicles, and that's every single year. I thought I heard maybe 3 million when someone was speaking, but 2 or 3 million, we'll make sure we get there. The graphite Vinode produces is a critical component, not just for electric vehicle batteries, but also for nuclear reactors, and we're leaders in nuclear everywhere in the world, and we just look forward to using that graphite right here in Ontario as well for defense technology and many other strategic sectors. By bringing production to Ontario, we're not only creating life-changing careers at this facility in St. Thomas, we're supporting tens of thousands of additional jobs across our supply chain, from mining and refining to battery manufacturing research, transportation, and advanced manufacturing, giving Ontario competitive advantage in the industries of tomorrow for generations to come. Folks, we heard the Stats Canada numbers come out for last month, and they're tough times right now. There's no doubt there's tough times, but we've created the environment and conditions for companies to come and invest in Ontario, invest in our great people. I always say our biggest asset is our people. 65,000 new jobs across Canada. Remember, 65,000 jobs across Canada. Out of that 65,000, 55,000 jobs were created here in Ontario, and I'm just so proud of everyone. And it's a team effort. It's not one person or one group. It's everyone working together. The fact is, Ontario has what the world needs. With our vast mineral wealth, our incredible manufacturing expertise, and our world-class workforce. We're going to keep doing everything in our power to support our workers, attract new investment, and protect the people of Ontario. I want to thank Minister Flack and Minister Fedeli and the Mayor, the people of StThomas, and all of Elgin County for your support as we work hard to bring good manufacturing jobs back to Ontario. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We'll now take questions from the media. Media present can line up behind me and ask their questions through the microphone. As a friendly reminder, the format is one question and one follow-up. Please state your name and your outlet before your question. First question.
Thank you, Hannah. Hi, Mr. Premier. Norman DeBona of the London Free Press. I'm just wondering if is the province of Ontario funding the Vianode investment? Is there any money from Ontario going to the Vianode investment?
Yes, you want me to pass that over to Vic? Go ahead. I think it's we're doing a loan of, I think, $760 or something. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Norman. Thank you. So Vianode's investment, of course, is $3.2 billion, as you heard the Premier say, and it's being supported with a $670 million loan from the province of Ontario.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. See, Burkhart, I said 7 something, and he said 6 something. I know you'll take my offer over his.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Just as way of follow-up, can we talk for a moment about what it means to the province of Ontario to have this EV connected, EV related investment for the province and for the region of Southwest Ontario?
Well, thank you so much for that question, because it's not just this investment. It's reciprocal jobs and different jobs around the community that's really going to just turn this whole jurisdiction, StThomas, around. And we're just so grateful because it brings opportunities, it brings jobs, it brings wealth to the area. And we all know we need as many jobs as we can right here in Ontario. But you can only do that with a partnership of municipalities, the region, the federal government, and the provincial government. But this is a game changer. I remember a few years ago, many years ago, when a few plants left StThomas. And then Mayor Preston went into action. The guy's an absolute champion, and he was attracting companies. This whole region has changed now because of iNode's investment and PowerCo and other companies that are going to come. Because what it does, it attracts new companies in the supply chain to open up right here to make sure we have JIT, just-in-time delivery, and we're just so grateful. And we'll do everything and anything we need to make sure this transition goes smooth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Lepton from CBC News. Premier, we've heard from water officials in this area that the development that's happening at Yarmouth Yards will create immense water needs that will require $400 million in upgrades to the system, the water system here, in order to meet that by the time production starts. Would you support public money going to support the water system and the upgrades that they will require?
I will support anything to make sure we see this community prosper and grow, but I'm going to hand this over to Minister Flack, and we'll do anything, any infrastructure that's needed, because it will last 10, 20, 30, 50 years, 100 years down the road, to make sure there's opportunities for other companies to come in here, no matter if it's water, if it's electricity, if it's anything they need, we'll be there to support them. But I'll hand it over to Minister Flack.
Well, thank you, Premier, and thank you, Andrew. I guess what I would say is when PowerCo first came here, we knew there'd be growing pains. We'd have to invest in infrastructure and do so properly, and it's a learning curve. But to echo what the Premier said, take a look at the dollars we've invested publicly in infrastructure, water and wastewater, and this is no different. So PowerCo, Vianode, Element 5, whoever is investing here, municipalities, we will be here 100% to support them. And I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Preston as a backup here because he can talk specifically about St. Thomas and Elgin County. Mayor.
Well, thank you, Minister, and absolutely true. It was less than a decade ago, as the Member of Parliament for this area, we delivered a very large investment in water, drinkable water, through the Huron Erie London pipeline. In conversations just over the last couple of weeks, certainly with Mayor Morgan in London and other municipal politicians, we know that our forte is working together, not against. And we know that as we grow industry and great jobs in our community and the community surrounding St. Thomas, it will be all of us working together, including the provincial and federal government, working together to ensure we can move forward with this, not only just industrial growth, but housing growth. We don't build these houses without having water hooked up to them too, but it's not far. I can walk you down the road 5 kilometers and get you to Lake Erie. We know where the water is. It's not hard for us to work together to make sure that everybody here has all that they need and at the right price.
Just to follow up.
And that's the reason I love this guy. It just makes it happen, and we're going to make it happen as well.
Just to follow up for the Premier, down the road in Ingersoll, the Kami plant, significant money was put in there for them to retool. Yep. That plant now faces a bit of an uncertain future. In situations where public money has gone to these companies to help them invest here, would you support getting that money back in cases where the production stops, as it has for now with GM in Ingersoll?
Well, every single contract's different, and if they sign a contract, they'll be held accountable. But we're working with the federal government. We're looking at different options. We're working with the auto company itself to see if we can get another line in there, and we're working with the federal government. Maybe we can build federal military vehicles as well. But there's all sorts of options. But we're going to make sure that we support those folks any way we can.
Hi, Premier. Hi, Premier. Bienvenue, Senga from Radio Canada.
Yes.
There was a lot of enthusiasm a few years ago in Ingersoll at the EV announcement there.
Yes.
But as it was mentioned, we saw how it ended up happening, right? How confident are you that this other EV-related venture will work out, especially when we know President Trump's stance on this issue?
Well, I think this is the way of the future. I truly believe in the EV sector. That's the way we're going to be going. That's the way the world's going. And we're going to make sure that we're leaders around the world when it comes to battery manufacturing, electric vehicles, and we're going to be leaders, just like we are in nuclear. We're leaders in EV. And again, I just want to thank Vianode and Burkhard and his whole team, Emmanuel, for coming here and having confidence in our province and our people. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. We're ahead of the curve, as they say, and everyone else is going to be playing catch up as we're miles ahead.
A follow-up from my colleagues in Ottawa. Yesterday, the provinces and territories signed an agreement to drop interprovincial trade barriers on many goods, but it still doesn't include alcohol and food. What do you think is missing to include those and to allow the full mobility of Canadian workers between provinces?
Well, we've dropped everything. We're the first province to drop all exceptions right across the board. I'm glad that was the first step. I know Ontario led the charge when it came to the Canadian Free Trade Agreement, and 98% of the people didn't even realize that we had a Canadian Free Trade Agreement. But what it's going to create is over $200 billion of economic growth. It's going to increase by the GDP by 5 to 6%. And who would have ever thought for years that you couldn't ship a case of wine from BC over to Ontario or Ontario to Nova Scotia? But I'm very fortunate. We have premiers from all different political stripes. We have an incredible relationship. We're talking on a daily basis on how we can improve Canada as a whole and make it more competitive to do business right here and get rid of the red tape and the regulations. And that's exactly what we're doing.
This will be the last reporter.
Hi, I have actually a question for Mr. Strobe. Brian Bicknell from CTV News, by the way. So I'm just wondering, how much did the presence of PowerCo influence your decision to come here, and is there a deal in the works between the two companies?
Well, I cannot talk about customer relationships and contracts. I would assume that PowerCo and Vianode have the same reasons to come, and that's a very supportive environment as we discussed today. Canada itself has a stable, predictable political system and situation, so that's very important for companies investing a lot of money. The workforce, highly skilled workforce, the infrastructure. So I wouldn't say that PowerCo and we were coordinated in a way. No, that's not the case. But the reasons for us coming here, I would assume, were pretty much the same.
Thank you.
You know, I'm going to get Vic Fideli when he travels around the world, and Burkhard just mentioned it about a stable government, but why don't you tell him the line that you always tell me? But it's true.
Well, look, we've been to about 20 countries this year, and why we were able last year to land 409 international companies who invested $40 billion in Ontario last year and hired 24,711 people is because as we sit and talk to them in this very tumultuous world with Russia's war in Ukraine, with the war, earlier war in Israel, with China absolutely having a huge grip on our supply chain and weaponizing critical minerals around the world. With all of that darkness, they look across the ocean. This is their words now, in almost every country we've been to. And they see a beacon of hope. They see this beacon of light, and that's Canada. And specifically, that's Ontario, Canada. And they tell us, you have a government that is stable, that is reliable, that is dependable, but most importantly, you have a government that is predictable. And that predictability is what they need to rely on. And that's why these companies are coming here. Yes, it's our solid workforce, and it's our industrial land, and it's all of these other things that we have, but it really is that predictability. They know what they're going to get when they come to the province of Ontario.
That's great. Thanks, buddy. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming. I can't wait to come back and cut the ribbon. This is a game changer, not just for the community, but Ontario and Canada. Thank you again, Vianode, and God bless you. Thank you.